Hey coders, how's it going? Mohamedou here, back again. And throughout this lesson, we're going to be learning about sorting. So sorting in Python refers to the process of arranging elements in a particular order. And this is a pretty common operation used to organize data in a meaningful way. To give an example, you could have a collection of numbers and you may want to sort that collection from least to greatest. Also, you could have a piece of text and you may want to sort that text in alphabetical order. Python actually has two built-in functions that we can use to sort data, such as lists and strings. So over the next couple videos, we will look at both of these functions, understand how they work, and how we can use them in our programs. So I'll see you all in the next couple videos. The sorted function is used to sort a sequence, such as a list or string. Now in programming, sequences are typically referred to as iterables. So these two terms are interchangeable. So you may hear me refer to a list or string as an iterable. And just know that they do mean the same thing. Sequences, iterables, we can use one or the other to refer to strings or lists. So the sorted function takes in any kind of iterable as input, such as a list or string, and returns a new sorted list containing the elements in ascending order. And that's essentially from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and see some examples of the sorted function in action. So let's go ahead and call the sorted function. And then I'm going to pass in a list of strings. So let's go ahead and add apple as the first string. Then we'll add orange as the second string. We'll do cherry as the third string. And the last string will be banana. And we know that the sorted function returns a new sorted list containing the elements in ascending order. So let's go ahead and assign what the sorted function will return to a variable. And let's go ahead and call this list sorted list of fruits. Next, let's go ahead and print out this list. Sorted list of fruits. Let's go ahead and run this. And as you can see, our list is sorted in alphabetical order. And we know that if we were to open up a dictionary, the word apple would come before banana, banana would come before cherry, and cherry would come before orange. Next, let's do something similar, but this time, let's first store our list that we want sorted into a variable. So we'll call this variable list of fruits, and we'll assign it our list from up above. Next, let's go ahead and call the sorted function and pass in list of fruits as an argument. Similarly, let's capture what the sorted function returns and assign it to a variable. And we'll call this variable sorted list of fruits. Now let's go ahead and print this out. And let's go ahead and run this. And as you can see, we get the list sorted in ascending order. Now, one thing that's nice about the sorted function is it does not modify the original list. So let's go ahead and print out list of fruits. And let's run this. So as you can see, when we printed out list of fruits, it has the exact same order as it did when we first created the list. And when we look at the sorted list of fruits, we see that it was sorted in alphabetical order. So let's go ahead and add some strings here in the print statement so it can be a bit more clear what it is that's being printed on each line. So here we'll do sorted list of fruits. And here we'll go ahead and add list of fruits. Let's go ahead and run this again. And as you can see, our sorted list of fruits is sorted in alphabetical order. But list of fruits, which was our original list, still has the exact same order as when we first defined the list. And this is because the way the sorted function works is it does not change the original list. Instead, it returns a new sorted list with the elements sorted. So let's go ahead and see another example using the sorted function to sort a list of numbers. So let's go ahead and create a variable called list of numbers, and we'll assign it to a list of integers. So we'll have 9, 4, 8, 3, 4, 2, and 10. So let's go ahead and call the sorted function and pass in list of numbers. And we know that the sorted function is going to return a new list with all the elements in sorted order. So let's go ahead and create a new variable and assign it equal to this result. And we'll call this variable sorted list of numbers. Let's go ahead and print out sorted list of numbers. And let's run this. So as you can see, we get our list sorted in ascending order from least to greatest. Let's go ahead and print out the original list, which is list of numbers. And let's go ahead and run this. And as you can see, the original list still has the same order as when we first created the list. And as mentioned before, that's because the sorted function does not modify the original list. It returns a new sorted list containing the elements in ascending order. Next, let's go ahead and see how the sorted function works with strings. So strings are sorted alphabetically. So the character A would come before the character B, and B would come before C, and C would come before D, and so on and so forth. And if a string contains numbers, those numbers are sorted numerically. So let's go ahead and create a variable called greeting, and we'll assign it the string hello. Next, let's go ahead and call the sorted function and pass in greeting. And we know that sorted is going to return back a new sorted list that contains all of the elements in ascending order. So even though we passed in a string to the sorted function, the sorted function is still going to return a list. So let's go ahead and see this in action. So I'm going to go ahead and create a variable called sorted greeting, and we'll assign it to what the sorted function returns. Next, let's go ahead and print out sorted greeting. Let's go ahead and run this. And as you can see, we get a list, and all of the characters in the string are in sorted order. So we see E, and we know that that comes before the letter H, and H comes before L. We have another L, and L comes before O. Let's go ahead and print out the original variable greeting, and let's run this. So as you can see, we still have hello. So the sorted function did not modify the original string. It just returned us a copy. So one important thing to note about the sorted function is that you cannot use the sorted function to sort a list that contains both strings and numbers. So for example, if we try to call the sorted function and pass in a list that contains a combination of numbers and a string, such as the number 1, the number 2, and the string hello, this would result in an error. So this would not work. So the sorted function is very useful when you want to obtain a sorted version of an iterable without modifying the original sequence, because it creates a new sorted list while leaving the original sequence intact. So that essentially wraps up the sorted function. The sort function is used to sort a sequence, such as a list or a string. And another way that we can refer to a sequence in Python is by using the term iterable. So iterable and sequence are interchangeable, and we can use either term to refer to a string or a list. The sort function works by sorting the elements in ascending order. So that basically means from least to greatest. A few characteristics about the sort function is it can only be used to sort lists. It also permanently changes the original list. And it also does not return anything. So let's go ahead and see the sort function in action. So first I'm going to create a variable called list of numbers. And I'm going to assign it to a list that contains different kinds of integers. So we'll have 9, 4, 7, 3, 8, and 1. So the way that we call the sort function is slightly different than what we're used to seeing. So first we're going to go ahead and put list of numbers, which is the variable. Then we have a dot. Then we'll go ahead and call the sort function. So let's go ahead and print out list of numbers. And let's run our code. And as you can see, the list of numbers is sorted from least to greatest. And this also permanently changes list of numbers. So before we call the sort function, let's actually print out list of numbers here so we can compare before and after. So let's also add a string that we can also output. So we'll put before, and then here we'll put after. Let's go ahead and run this again. And as you can see, before we call the sort function, our list has not been modified. But after we go ahead and call the sort function, and then we print list of numbers, we can see that it has permanently been modified and sorted from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and look at another example of using the sort function. And this time we'll use it to sort a list of strings. In Python, strings are sorted alphabetically. So this means that the character A would come before the character B, and the character B would come before the character C, and the word apple would come before the word orange. So let's go ahead and start off by creating a variable called list of fruits, and we'll assign it to a list of strings. And we'll have orange, apple, cherry, and banana. So let's go ahead and use the sort function to sort list of fruits. So we'll start off with the variable list of fruits. Then we'll have a dot. Then we'll call the sort function. Next, let's go ahead and print out list of fruits. And let's actually print out list of fruits before calling the sort function. So here we'll say before. And here let's add after. So let's go ahead and run this. So as you can see, before we sorted list of fruits, we have the exact same list as we did when we first created the list. Then after we sort the list, you can see here that now we have a list that contains all the fruits in alphabetical order. And if we were to open up a dictionary, we know that we would see the word apple before banana, and we'd see banana before cherry, and we'd see cherry before orange. So the sort function is really useful when you want to sort items and permanently change a list. Now, one thing to note is that if you try to use the sort function on a list that contains strings and numbers, this will not work. So for example, if we have a list that contains the number 1, 2, and the string hello, and we try to sort this, this would result in an error. So that essentially wraps up the sort function.